Welcome to the Eagle House. The Eagle House was originally called the Bellows House, and it was built approximately 1740 by Colonel Benjamin Bellows. It was later inherited by his son, Colonel Joseph Bellows, who fought in the Revolutionary War. In 1875, the Bellows House was purchased by Benjamin Snow. He used approximately $3,000 to renovate. He put ringing bells. There was a bowling alley. He also placed a cupola on top of the building with an eagle weather vane and changed the name of the Bellows House to the Eagle House. The original location of the Eagle House was in the town center where the Boys and Girls Club now stands. In 1931, there was actually a livery attached to the Eagle House, which caught on fire and destroyed the livery. In 1937, the Eagle House was moved to its present location at 25 Memorial Drive, where it became a credit union and the home to American Legion Post 283. In 1988, town meeting voted to authorize a group of private citizens to form the Eagle House Senior Center Committee. This committee, led by Mario Patacchiola, renovated the older section of the Eagle House and made it into a senior center. In 1998, a grant was received from HUD and a 4,000 square foot addition was added to the senior center. Section of the Eagle House. It was built in 1998 with grant money from HUD. So this is our office right here. This is Amanda. She's our administrative assistant. And if you follow me, this is Faith. She's our outreach coordinator. This is our main offices right here. This is where all the business happens. All the transportation is booked here. This is my office, right next to Kids Kingdom, so I can watch all the children all the time. And if you come out this door, we go right down the hallway. We have 3 bathrooms down here. We have a sitting area here. There's a janitor's closet in here. We collect eyeglasses for the Lions Club in this box here, so if you have some, you can bring them on up and drop them off here. And I'll take you right down to the other sections. We do weekly 50-50 raffles here. It goes to benefit our Eagle House Supporters Incorporated. They're the people who are our fundraising group. They're a 501c3 fundraising group. And here is our computer room. We have free Wi-Fi up here at the Senior Center, so you can bring your laptop up or you can use one of our 3 computers here. We also hold meetings in here at various times. Let me bring you right out through this way. We have cribbage this morning. We have quite a crew. So this is our larger function room. And we have cribbage on Tuesday morning.
Yeah. Is it entertainment?
This is really a great spot for gathering. And these are some of our cribbage participants. Hi, Sonny.
Yeah, they do quite well.
We have a health room in here. Right now there's Manny and Petty's going on. I can't let you in there right now. But this is what we call Bucky's Corner over here. This was made possible through funds from Bucky Padula's family, and we have different displays in here. We like to display people's artwork. Right now it's set up for Valentine's Day. So this is a really nice warm place for folks to sit when they come up. And I'll bring you into the kitchen. This is our kitchen. This is Joanne Brazel. She's our meal site coordinator.
Hi.
This is Ann Penny.
Hi, how are you?
She participates in our property tax work-off program and helps out in the kitchen 1 day a week. This is where the Meals on Wheels come out from. This is Joanne's desk. And if you see, this leads right back out to the large function room again, where we have lunches and people waiting for coffee for privilege. So if you come on down, I'll bring you into the historical section. David Berthium from the Lions Club picks up produce and bread and pastry for us every so often, and it's given away free to the elders. So we thank David and John Sire, his good buddy. This is another little sitting area. And then we come into the 1740 section of the Eagle House. This is what we call our game room and library. As you can see, we have a beautiful new pool table. We have numerous games. We play Scrabble and Pitch and Left, Center, Right. This morning we're doing a book club in here. They meet once a month. So we set up for that. We also have movies here on Friday afternoons. We have a kitchen in here. In here, the wall beams here, those are original to the building from 1740. And this is just a plaque saying that's it's on the National Register of Historic Places. So I can take you upstairs. This is where the American Legion used to be up in this room. They're no longer here. So our Veterans Officer has his office up there. The rest is basically storage, but I'll give you a tour up there. We also collect worn American flags. If you don't have any place to dispose of it, we have a volunteer who comes up and takes care of that for us. This beautiful mural was painted by a member of our Board of Selectmen, Paula Bertram, in 1990. She's very talented.
I am a grenadier in the 10th Regiment of Foot, operating out of Lexington, and a native of Lunenburg. The Eagle House has an interesting story which I first heard about a number of years ago, and I was a bit confused. And that it evolves around the fact that one day 3 British officers showed up and demanded, in their very aristocracy way, that they were going to be here throughout the winter and into the spring. Whether she liked it or not, the owner of the house, the mistress of the house, had to put them up. At first I thought it might be the French and Indian War because there were no British around here at all during the Revolution. But when I looked into it, I found out that nope, it is true. They were all part of what I will talk about later, the army that surrendered at Saratoga. The 3 British officers were probably company grade officers. There was 3 of them. If they were higher than company grade, they probably would have had an entourage of their own to assist them. So since the 3 of them are together, we will assume that they were low-grade officers. Very stuffy and very demanding. That was the aristocracy of Britain at the time. The 3 officers demanded quarters, and she reluctantly said that she would agree to that. This is Mrs. Bellows, the wife of Joseph Bellows. And however, when they came back after a short time, she gave them strictly cold meat, cheese, and dark bread. Dark bread being a peasant type bread. And they were rather put out about it and demanded that this was not to their liking and that she had to improve on the food, and they'd be back later after visiting the tavern for their night's sleep, and they would settle accounts. They had to pay for their room. They had to also pay for their firewood and any other services that were going to be provided. That was all the rules of quartering officers of a prisoner's army. So they returned, and she decided that she was going to give them the north room because that was a very cold room. And it also had a very small fireplace, and she figured, it's cramped quarters, it won't be to their liking, it'll be cold, and they won't get enough heat. And maybe they'll leave after a couple days. As it turned out, they came back drunk. And they proceeded to gather up their firewood as best they could, and they decided to have their fire a little bit bigger than the fireplace would allow. The woman had suspected that there might be some problems, so she had her female servant stay up and observe what was happening outside the room. And the female servant turned it over to probably a livery boy. And lo and behold, early in the morning, they smelt smoke. And they went into the room, and the fire had gone outside the fireplace, and in fact was starting to warm up the timbers and burst into flames shortly thereafter. They did put the fire out. She was less than happy about the whole thing. And when her husband returned home, because at that time they were still coming and going in terms of officerships, he was a colonel. And he demanded that they leave the premises immediately, and in fact leave the town, or he would make certain of the fact that they would want to leave the town. They did leave. We don't know who they were, we don't know what regiment they were with, but there was 3 of them, and as I said, they were probably low-grade, company-grade officers, which would be a lieutenant or a captain. What age were they? We don't know. They could be young, but they were certainly brash, and which is not uncommon. The question that rose in my mind was, what were the British doing here? And as I said earlier, it turns out that they were part of the army of the Convention, and that was the army that came down from Canada under John Burgoyne and the British Army. It was about 7,000 men strong. About half of it was British, the other half was a combination of Hessian and Canadian militia.
So come on upstairs, we have 2 more floors to show you. This messy room is part of our holiday storage room. As you can see, we keep kitchen supplies up here, tablecloths, Christmas items, old computer chairs. It's a messy storage room. And it looks out over the old main function room. And if we come down here, before the addition was added in '98, this used to be our offices up here. My desk was actually right here. There was an outreach coordinator desk right there, and the director sat behind here. And it's a mess. So this leads right through to another hallway, and that's the Lunenburg Veteran Services office. I can't open that right now, but that's where he goes Tuesdays at 4:30. And let me take you upstairs to the attic. As you can see, it's not being used except for storage. There's insulation all over the floor. The ceiling, the wood in the ceiling is original, and it's quite old. And now we're going to take you into the basement of the Eagle House Senior Community Center. As you can see, it's not very exciting. This basement is not original. It was put on when the building was moved down here. We use it for storage, outside items, there's little rooms. The most interesting thing I know about the Eagle House is it's haunted. There are many ghost stories regarding the Eagle House. I myself have had experiences here, and we believe it's the ghost of Mrs. Bellows. When our offices were upstairs in the older section of the Eagle House before the addition was added on, I had a printer, a computer printer that would go off all the time, and it would just shoot out gibberish on paper, and I called the printer company and they couldn't figure it out. I called Mrs. Bertram, who at the time was on the computer technology board. She came down to look at my printer. She couldn't figure it out. In the meantime, my printer problem still continued, and finally one day I got sick of it and I yelled, "Knock it off, Mrs. Bellows," and it never happened again. So when the addition was added in 1998, I thought, well, we're safe from the ghosts in the newer section of the building. And I was standing by the former director's office door one day, and I was shredding papers, and I was the only person in the building besides the janitor, George, who was in the other side of the building. And I was looking down at the shredder, and out of the corner of my eye came a pair of legs coming out of my office. I looked up, there was nobody there. I called George's name, and he was out in the kitchen, and it wasn't him. So, if you're a believer or not, I certainly am. That there used to be slot machines in the basement, and when it was the American Legion Hall, people would go down in the basement and gamble. That's the only scandalous rumor I've heard of this place. My personal favorite part about the Eagle House is the oldest section of the building that was built in 1740. We've added a pool table to that room. We show movies in that room right now. There's a library there. The older kitchen is in there. But I just love the look and the feel of that room. It just feels so homey and so unique. That's my favorite part of the whole building. Another unique item about the Eagle House was the first phone in Lunenburg was installed in this building in 1883. That's pretty neat. The Eagle House certainly has changed since 1840. I wish everybody would come up and check us out anytime. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have all kinds of activities going on here. Come up and look at this beautiful building. It's a piece of history in Lunenburg that should be shared with everybody.